and Lords podcast.
Welcome to the Lord's Minute, our quick hit video series where we talk about all the biggest happenings in gaming and beyond. I'm your host, Ty Swinson, writer for Lords of Gaming, and with me today is my partner in crime, Lord King. We are back once again talking about She-Hulk, and this week, as Jennifer Walters put it, is a self-contained wedding episode with no big stakes whatsoever. Or so they lead you to believe, because we did get a little something to move the plot forward. I'm going to toss it over to you, King, on what you were thinking with this wedding episode / divorce, and everyone's going to court nowadays.
Well, first, I want to congratulate you on becoming Scribe of the Month.
Oh,
and
thank
yes,
you.
I didn't get a chance to do it. But, sent a great video, and the video was fantastic. So if anybody didn't get a chance to see that, go check that out. My man here is Scribe of the Month. So I'm sitting here with the best. This episode, okay, so coming into this episode, I had high hopes on seeing a certain other lawyer of a red persuasion, well, red and yellow persuasion, now that he's in the MCU.
Yeah, I got that tease.
And it wasn't to be. So we did get a chance to see one of her dresses that was made from the super tailor for the superheroes. And it was a nice dress. It fit her so well, and she looked so beautiful showing up when her friend asked her to come to the wedding. Yeah. And it was always ulterior motives. So you understood exactly where she stood in the pantheon of her friends, on how her friends was treating her, and how the bride actually treated her, because the bride, she was just like the butt of the jokes, to be honest with you. And she wanted to keep the tradition going as her being the butt of the jokes. Right now she's financially stable. She's a superhero, and she's, living high on the hog. So she shows up as She-Hulk, and, the bride is like, yo, come on, you like taking my shine. Like, so she asked that, to make a deal with her that she doesn't be She-Hulk at the wedding, to take the shine from her. And, Jennifer is such a humble, nice friend that she decides not to do so. Oh, and to Titania, how the hell did she get there? And she's like, yo, she only showed up here just to, to interject herself into my life, to make my life miserable.
Yeah.
Like, and how come nobody sees this? And it was absolutely nuts. Long story short, her cousin is always around. He's the DJ. He's always doing something to make some money. I like this kid. This kid he's an entrepreneur. He's trying. What's his name? MC Hulk or something like that.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, Incredible Hulk. It was nuts. That was good. And on the other end, before I even delve into the main event fight, on the other end, we got a character from the MCU that is he's like a joke character. Like what's his name? Mr. Immortal. And he can't die. All right. So I mean, in the MCU they did find, in the comic books they did find a way to kill him, but this one they were showing, and I loved how She-Hulk shows it, everyday life of supers. And what they're showing is, with the She-Hulk, there are other supers around, and people are used to it. So it's not like, oh my God, he's a super and stuff like that. When he jumps out the window and he hits the car and he just gets up, and cracks his body, and he walks off. That showed, and they weren't freaking out. They was like, oh, so that's how it works, type of thing. It's a regular occurrence with the She-Hulk series, and they're getting you used to supers on every corner, stuff going around without people panicking, and actually they are like, they're celebrities type of thing. So back to Titania and She-Hulk, I couldn't believe Titania snuffed Jennifer. I really couldn't believe that. And Jennifer didn't have no ill effects. That was
Mm,
kind of baffling to me. Did she pull her punch when she hit her?
right.
What is Titania's punch range? Like what's going on? What is
Mm,
her power range? I
hmm
need to notice because she's going toe to toe with the She-Hulk when Jennifer said, enough is enough. I'm going to turn into She-Hulk. And she tried and she couldn't at first, and then she was like, I forgot how to do it, and then she actually turns into her. But they go, one on one, and everybody just takes out the phone. Nobody's running. They
hmm
just take out their phone while these two soups is actually fighting, and they're going viral. And something terrible happens to Titania. That's really terrible for an influencer and a person
hmm
worried about their image. The absolute worst thing happened to her. But I'm like, this was the episode of normalcy. Like,
mm,
nobody was shocked. Nobody was amazed. And we're going to the day and day lives of superheroes getting divorced, going to weddings, getting to fights that nobody's running away from, and they're
hmm
standing there. And I'm like, wow, this episodes keep showing you more and more into the MCU and where the MCU is going and what they're trying to do. And I think the She-Hulk series is a key vehicle in doing that and pushing that narrative forward.
hmm Yeah, so this week's episode, with it being centered around more daily living, day-to-day type of deals, of Jennifer getting invited to the wedding, and I kind of already knew what was up because it was an old friend that, kind of hung out with during school. If it was me, I'm like, nah, nah, I like
Yeah.
I moved out, cut ties. No, I'm not going to no family reunion, school reunion. You don't need to invite me. I'm not going to be there. But she being nice was like, oh, well, like I got an invite. I got to show up. I'm a bridesmaid. And I liked her showing up on the scene, excited to showcase her new dress,
Yeah.
because this is the beginning of her coming out of her shell and being more excited to show off her figure, show off and be proud of the things that she has done and accomplished, as she mentioned later in the show. Like, I'm actually doing great. Like, I have powers, a
Yep.
great paying job, I get to work with my best friend every day. Life is good. And for Lulu, the bride, to be like, it's one big day. If you could just like ixnay on the Hulk A.
Yeah.
Like, I was mad for Jennifer, but like you said, she was nice and she went ahead and went back to Jen. And I thought it was an interesting plot point that the joke for this episode was just Jen. The title of the episode
Yeah.
was just Jen. That she was primarily trying to be just Jennifer Walters in favor of saving Grace with the bride, but this is probably the first time that she willingly showed up unprompted as She-Hulk. Because when it came to the Tinder slash um, dating app thing, someone told her, like, hey, her person was like, hey, you get a lot more likes if you did as She-Hulk.
Yeah.
But this was her own thinking of like, I'm gonna show up as She-Hulk. I'm becoming proud of who I am. So I very much appreciate that. And in this episode, keeping in ties with love, she actually met someone in which I'm a little suspectful of this dude. He's a
Yeah.
little sus, and we'll get to that. Josh, nice guy, corny, seems to be right her speed, shows
He's
up.
too good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like almost like, a match made in heaven,
Yeah.
which is very suspectful, especially when She-Hulk herself is coming out of a lawsuit with Titania, in which it is public knowledge from the court hearings that she had all these guys that she dated. She is trying to find someone on a dating app. You can see She-Hulk is trying to find someone. So it's not very
Yeah.
hard for someone with ill intentions to be like, if we want to get a guy on the inside,
Yep.
that's how we go. And the reason why we're alluding to this is because part of the subplot B with Mr. Immortal and his wives, that he's trying to, get scot-free from doing them wrong. Jennifer's best friend and Mallory, the other like high-end lawyer in the division, find this like black site, QAnon type beat of like, She-Hulk is no good, bad news, death to She-Hulk, all this really bad stuff aimed at her. And we saw as the episode ended that some high-tech lab of what we assume to be the people that are trying to get She-Hulk's blood.
I think his aim.
Okay. So AIM or someone of that caliber trying to get her blood is actually working with this black site. So it's not just some neckbeard in mom's basement doing all this.
Mm-hmm.
This is like
He said
really legit bad,
neckbeard.
really legit bad news because we see like the bent needle from the first failed attempt.
Yep.
We see the upgraded needle, and we also see on the security cams.
I think it's vibranium too.
Yeah, we see on the security cams Jennifer having that little nice date with Josh as her phone's set to silent of hey, like, this probably isn't a big thing, but there are people who want to do ill to you, so just watch out. So where do you
Mm-hmm.
think that's going to lead going to the next episode?
I don't know. Hopefully we get to see more of the Wrecking Crew, a little bit more as Guardian buffed up. When they do get their powers maximized, because they do get their enchanted weapons, maximized, and they do actually take on a different form. I love the Wrecking Crew, so I'm
Yeah, right,
hoping that
right.
they do come back. And actually to see the nefarious intent, I do want them to get the blood to maybe we get a bomb, maybe we get Red Hulk, Red She-Hulk, different characters with using the gamma radiated blood. But is the caveat in using her blood is the fact that what Bruce alluded to, that because they have a special gene that they're able to absorb the gamma radiation.
Because it would most likely kill someone else.
Exactly. So are there mutants? Are they leading to that? Because with Mr. Immortal, which I don't know if he's a mutant, and I have to double check, but the fact that they're so cavalier with with other soups, and there's a tailor for the other soups, and I didn't go back and look at that episode where the guy was leaving out, and who the hell was that was leaving out with a suit? And he's in good business. He does a lot of business, right? So who's next? What's next? This stuff is all up in the air because I really thought I was going to get Matt Murdock, and I didn't, or at least his alter ego. So it's still room to breathe in these episodes.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that back up because that's probably the only other thing. It's with that fight with Titania versus She-Hulk. I'm like, okay, is this gonna be a little bit higher stakes? And it wasn't really. Like Jennifer got sucker punched a couple times, and then she transformed into She-Hulk, and then there was a small bit of back and forth, but then She-Hulk pretty much took the upper hand, and Titania took herself out on some cubes of ice. But the few good licks that Titania got in on She-Hulk, I was hoping that was going to lead to, and maybe this might happen if AIM or whoever has another altercation with Jennifer, but then that Jennifer's going to learn how to actually self-defend herself and not just rely on brute strength of fighting, because the training that she had with Bruce was really how to get a handle on her powers. There wasn't any really technical, this is how you fight if you are in a life or death situation.
Does
and of
Daredevil
course,
teach her?
Right. And that's what I'm hoping that this kind of will simulate them working together more, is that Matt will offer to give Jennifer some pointers, whether we go like the Arrow show style of where Matt just shows like, I have don't have super strength or anything, but with my sixth sense of martial arts, I can just smoke you like that. Anyone that knows what they're doing can seriously do harm to you. You can't just rely on your powers all the time.
So hopefully that's exactly where it goes. And because she's supposed to get some form of martial arts training. So will he be her instructor? What's next? I think everybody that's watching these episodes are built up to the point that they're waiting to see Daredevil, because they know Daredevil at some time is the big payoff in one of these episodes. And I believe that Kevin Feige and the team understands that, and they string us along so well because we truly do not know what each episode is going to be.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping that the payoff, in whatever capacity, isn't saved to a last episode, as sometimes these things tend to happen, and that it has room to breathe outside of one episode, whether it be the second to last or just adequate time to build up those relationships, state us enough, so that we know for next time, Daredevil Reborn. If you want more Matt Murdock, that's where you're going to have to be for the next time. Because also you're going to be bringing in new fans who, this might be their first interaction with Daredevil to a legitimate capacity, whether
Yeah.
or not they missed the original Netflix show. A lot of people saw Spider-Man No Way Home or the latest Spider-Man
Far from
movie.
home.
Yeah. And Matt Murdock being there for all of 5 seconds to be Peter's lawyer, and some people were freaking out in theaters, and I was
Yeah.
like, who's that? Why are we screaming? So I think for those new people, you definitely want to put your best foot forward when introducing that character in this show.
Yeah. Definitely 100%.
Well, everyone, let us know what you think in the comments down below, because this has been the Lord's Minute. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at lordsofgaming.net. I'm Ty Swinson, here with Lord King, and this has been the Lord's Minute.
Peace.